Sarah's old car sputtered and groaned, finally succumbing to the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. The engine died with a disheartening clunk, leaving her stranded in the desolate woods. The trees, twisted and foreboding, seemed to whisper secrets in the dark. Cell phone in hand, she frantically searched for a signal, only to find the screen devoid of bars. Desperation set in as Sarah realized she needed to find an area with reception. With trepidation, she started walking down the road that cut through the creepy woods. The night was upon her, and the pressing darkness made every rustle and creak more ominous. Isolation wrapped around her like a cold embrace, and a chill ran down her spine. The woods were alive with eerie sounds, twigs snapping, leaves crunching. Unease settled in as she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She quickened her pace, heart pounding in the silent night. As Sarah ventured deeper, the suspense thickened. Shadows danced on the periphery, and the oppressive darkness seemed to close in with every step. The moon's feeble light struggled to pierce the thick canopy of trees, casting eerie shapes on the path ahead. Suddenly, a distant set of headlights emerged through the trees. Relief washed over her as another car approached. The driver slowed down, offering a wary smile. Sarah hesitated but decided to accept the ride, grateful for the help. Yet, as they drove through the unsettling woods, the unease returned. The driver's eyes darted nervously, and Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. A cold shiver ran down her spine. The road seemed to stretch endlessly, and Sarah's unease deepened. She glanced out the window, the woods now appearing more ominous than ever. The driver's small talk couldn't dispel the tension in the air. A sudden turn took them onto a narrower, winding road, and Sarah's anxiety peaked. The dense forest pressed in, and the shadows seemed to engulf them. The headlights flickered, casting erratic beams that played tricks on the mind. The driver's demeanor shifted subtly. Sarah felt a knot tighten in her stomach. "Where are we going?" she asked, her voice trembling. No response. The driver stared ahead, his eyes fixed on the road. Sarah's fear escalated, a silent scream building within her. She fumbled for her phone, praying for a signal, and miraculously, her phone finally got a bit of reception. Relief flooded her, but the driver tensed, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. "Put that phone away," he said threateningly. A wave of terror now rippling through her, Sarah started dialing. But before she could finish dialing, the car screeched to a halt. The driver's eyes, now devoid of any pretense, bore menacingly into hers, and he pulled out a knife. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, Sarah made a split-second decision. She flung open the door and ran into the night, into the ominous woods. Breathless, Sarah sprinted through the darkness, branches clawing at her as she tore through the underbrush. Behind her, the echo of footsteps pursued, the driver's malicious intent palpable in the chilling air. The moonlight filtered through the dense canopy, casting eerie patterns on the forest floor. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing the urgency of her escape. She stumbled over uneven terrain, the fear of being caught intensifying with every passing second. The distant wail of a nocturnal creature blended with the ominous symphony of the woods. Sarah's mind raced as she sought refuge, her only goal to put as much distance between herself and the malevolent driver as possible. A clearing emerged ahead, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. Gasping for breath, Sarah slowed her pace. The pursuing footsteps faltered, and the forest seemed to hold its breath, anticipating the next move. In the clearing, Sarah spotted an abandoned shack, its dilapidated walls barely standing. Desperation fueled her as she pushed open the creaking door and slipped inside. The darkness within offered a temporary sanctuary. Huddled in the corner, Sarah strained her ears, listening for any sign of the ominous pursuer. The night was silent, save for the wind rustling through the trees. Fear lingered, but the isolation now felt less suffocating. Minutes stretched into an eternity, and just as she dared to hope for escape, the door creaked open. A shadow loomed in the entrance, the silhouette of the driver framed against the moonlit night. The oppressive darkness spilled into the shack as the intruder stepped inside. Sarah's breath caught in her throat, but she clung to the shadows, praying not to be seen. The intruder scanned the room, eyes narrowing as he sensed her presence. A twig snapped outside, diverting the intruder's attention. With a menacing glare, he retreated into the night. Sarah waited, her heart still racing, until the sound of footsteps faded into the distance. Summoning every ounce of courage, she cautiously emerged from the shack, the cold night air biting at her skin. The woods, once a place of dread, now offered a path to freedom. Guided by the moonlight, Sarah navigated her way back to the main road, leaving the creepy woods and the haunting whispers behind. As she flagged down the next passing car, relief washed over her. The driver, oblivious to the harrowing ordeal she had just escaped, offered a friendly smile. Sarah hesitated, casting a wary glance back at the woods. The night held its secrets, but for now, she was determined to leave them behind and embrace the safety of civilization.